Hey everybody, I'm at work right now, and it's gonna be 10 minutes before this restaurant gets this order done. Sorry, adjust this here. Okay. Yes, that's a box spring in the back of my van. Anyway, this is actually a supplement to the sermon series my pastor is doing called Inheriting Your Promised Land. So, with that in mind, I would like to share with you what the Lord has taught me about the Jordan River as a type and shadow. If you don't know the story of the Promised Land, Israel was in slavery to Egypt. They escaped slavery, crossed the Red Sea, wandered around the wilderness for 40 years. After that, they crossed the Jordan into the abundant Promised Land. So, what does the Jordan River symbolize? First, we have to answer the question, how is it different than the Red Sea? Because I think that will give it a clear picture. When Israel crossed the Red Sea, they had no revelation on the goodness of God. They were still murmuring and complaining. They had no faith in his goodness. God gave them abundance of wealth, and they had no revelation of goodness. And as a result, they just spent 40 years in the wilderness, just barely getting by. Contrast to that, the Jordan River represents revelation. This can be used to describe the two types of Christians: those who just get saved but get no real revelation of the goodness of God, and they wander around the wilderness. The Jordan River represents Christians who get revelation of the goodness of God and experiences abundant life. Now, of course, realistically, it's not, you don't just have it all of a sudden. It's over time. And the two other times the Jordan River can be seen as revelation, baptism into revelation, is when Jesus was baptized, he got a revelation of being God's son, and he actually got baptized to identify himself with us. And the other time was Naaman, or Naaman, or however you pronounce it, the only person in the Old Testament healed of leprosy. And he was actually a Gentile. And after he's healed of leprosy, he acknowledges God as the only God. So think about this. He never worshiped God, still got healed, and in response to the goodness of God, basically he got healed by bathing in the Jordan River 7 times. He got revelation of the goodness of God and decided to become a worshiper of God. And actually believe the reason he was the only leper to get healed in the Old Testament was because, well, he wasn't under the law. So yeah, that's basically what the Jordan River symbolizes. And actually, when Israel crossed the Jordan River, God actually literally held the water back, so Israel crossed the dry ground, and they put 12 stones from the land, put it at the bottom, represents our death because we die with Jesus, and then they took 12 stones from the bottom, brought it with them into the Promised Land, which represents us being risen with Jesus. So, what's it saying? Yeah, it's about your old self dying and being reborn with revelation of who God is. Some interesting points about the Promised Land. One, if you look at the manna thing, represents a just get by mentality because they only had just enough manna. And then some people had a not enough mentality, and the old ways were better when Israel looked back and thought Egypt was good. Also, the Promised Land is called the land flowing with milk and honey. Those are actual agricultural terms. For milk and honey, anyone who knows agriculture, and I live near a major agricultural school, Penn State has a good ag department, and I actually know a member of the Congressional Agricultural Committee, but that means there's a lot of abundant fields. green pastures like in Psalm 23. And by the way, when Jesus fed the 5,000, he made them lie down in green pastures, literally. But to get those green pastures, sometimes the shepherd actually has to clear out rocks and stuff, which, if you know the parable of the sower in Mark 4 or 5, you know that represents renewing our mind. So basically, it draws back to the point of the Jordan River. And some other stuff about the Jordan River. So it represents, death and resurrection, baptism. But there's actually two rivers that feed into the Jordan. The name Jordan actually means descend, and Jesus got baptized in Jordan because he was descending, lowering himself for us. There's two rivers that feed into it. I forgot their names. The first one actually means the first one, I can't remember their names, but the first one means emptying ourselves, basically giving up on all our own self-effort, and our very best is not enough, and our own life is inadequate. The other one, river, its name means to cut off, which cutting off the flesh or putting no confidence in our flesh. So I hope those were some good tips about the Jordan River. You can see types and shadows, and just help you see the importance of getting more revelation of God in order to enter your promised land, whatever that may be. I'm James M. Tuttle, and that's just how it is.